this video, we are going to be talking about my cousin's experiences. Majority of my cousins, some of them I experienced with her, and they're all paranormal stories, and she gave me consent to do the story time. But please like, subscribe, and also like and subscribe to my cousin Michelle, and her subscribing name is Darth Vader. She is a live stream gamer, but go ahead and check her out. And also, while doing this, I am going to chew some gum, so there are gonna be gum noises. So go ahead, wind down, chill, and relax, 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 relax. And the flavor here is cinnamon, extra long lasting flavor by Wrigley's. So now, without further ado, let us go ahead and start the story time. Okay, this particular one takes place at our village, Ikachuk, Alaska, and we were young girls, like around 7, 8 years old, and we lived really close together. We were neighbors, and as I told you, we live in a 2-mile long village near and when we were little girls, we lived at the way end by the old airport. And the old airport now was already an old cemetery way back then. Way back when. And my cousin was the closest. She lived over here in a yellow house, and it was like almost like a little square, like a little cottage looking house. And just about 100 feet away was, I used to call it, my Appa's house, aka Appa house. And we were playing, and we had so much fun playing together that we asked our parents if she could sleep over at Appa house, where we used to stay at the time. And we were gonna go ask her mom if she could come sleep over. So my cousin, she had her shoes on. She put her little shoes on, and I couldn't find my shoes. So my cousin piggybacked me on her back, and I had no socks or shoes on. So we were already up a house, and we were going to go to her house to ask her mom if she could sleep over. So as I was out on back of her, she was running to her house, and as soon as we went out of her house, after we asked her mom said yes. Two things happened. We saw a white fox or a white wolf right by her new house that was being built more close to the cemetery, but only like 50 feet away from her little tiny house. We saw something under there. It was all white. It was like a little fox or a wolf. We're not sure to this day. But when we were halfway, like around 50 feet to up a house, as we seen that, I was like, whoa, look over there. I see something. I was like, a wolf. But then as we turned over to the shed, so if you were to be right there at that time, as I was telling you, there's a little yellow house, and 100 feet away was up a house. It was all brown. And if you face this way, and if you look that way to your right, there's a little shed, and right there by the little shed there was a broken down old timer van. And a little bit more to the towards that away, right by the shed, like about 20 feet was my 20 to 50 feet was my grandparents' house. We called it Grandma House. So it's a really close neighborhood of a real close-knit family. And anyways, on that shed there was moss up on the shed. It was so old that moss started to grow up out the roof of this shed. And there was lots of old things in there. No one used to go in there. We only used to ever see them open it when they were going to go hunting or something or somewhere. But anyways, if you caught on, remember, all of my family were close to the old cemetery. So we have a lot of paranormal experiences and stories and mysteries and experiences of that sort. So sorry. Let me go back to where I was back of her. We were running back. I saw like a wolf, and at the same time, when we looked over to that shed on to the right, it was dark outside, and it was winter. If I did not tell you, it was winter. And there was a big, long pole right on the side of up a house. A really long pole. And it was a light pole. So at night, that pole would turn on. So it was bright. It was bright enough so where we can see and walk through the neighborhood. And it was enough light to have shining light onto that shed. So when we looked over to the right at that shed, there, unexplainably, that I remember, and she remembers to this day, as little girls, we always talk about it and be like, I can't believe we even saw that. There was a shadow on that shed. And this shadow was smoking. A shadow. There was no body, but there was shadow. And this shadow had a hat like a straight on hat you can see on the shadow, and it was quite long, and he was smoking. I couldn't believe my eyes, and I was like, she saw too, because I was able to see it as well. And I don't remember who said which, but we were like, do you see that? Do you see him? He's smoking. And we ran inside the house. And I remember I got out of her back, and we ran in the big steps. These steps were no joke. They were huge. Big steps. They weren't like perfect perpendicular horizontal steps. They were wide and kind of crooked, and they had little slits in them where you could trip or something. But anyways, it was winter, and I climbed up those steps like it was nothing, and we ran upstairs and into the dark porch back into the house. And who knows when we told the grown-ups that if they really believed us. And to this day, me and my cousin swear that we seen a shadow man. It may sound crazy. We did live by a cemetery. But that's one of our experience together that we even remember to this day. And I swear by it even today as a full-grown adult. So that was one of that we shared together. Like the previous one that I told you, we also shared a couple more. But my cousin has even more crazier, scarier stories that are unexplainable. Paranormal experiences, stories, creepy stories. She was the one closest by the old cemetery. And she used to have a room facing the cemetery and / old airport. When we would look out the window, she had no curtain. And when you looked out the window, you can see the old airport. This one night, it was winter time, she told me that she seen and saw someone moving in the middle of the night, and it happened to look like her sister. It was sitting down, just sitting there as a shadow person, shaped as her sister. And she called her sister's name, Mach, but there was no answer. And it was just sitting there until it looked like it got scared, or like as if she was able to see it. And that was one of experiences that she's seen in the middle of the night during winter. And in that same household, she also experienced another actual, like, she actually felt it on her, I don't know, it was either her right or her left side. No one was there, and she was babysitting. She was watching Disney Channel, and she was on her recliner on the other side of the room. They had 2 bedrooms. She was on the other side that time. And while she was on the recliner, out of nowhere, this was also during the winter at night as well, I remember her telling me, she felt something all of a sudden just open up her sleeve and climb up there. And she screamed, and then she was like, ee! And then she automatically took it off like this, but there was nothing. And that's the most creepiest. I wouldn't want that to happen to me. I wouldn't want to feel something crawling up my sleeve. That would be so creepy. But the more I heard about scary paranormal stories in her house, the scareder I was to sleep there. Every time I slept there, I would be scared. And that was another one. And I know there was more that she experienced in that house, but I don't remember on top of my head right now. But I will also tell you 2 more, whether you believe it or not. There was a lot of kids at night by my grandma's house, and right the left to my grandma's house was another house, and it was an arcade for the village. And near that arcade there was a long road connecting to the old airport / cemetery. Old cemetery. It's not a cemetery now, or it wasn't a cemetery then, but they used to say there was a cemetery, just to get that straight. Anyways, at that time it was the airport. All the way to the airport, all the way down was a road, and there was lots of trees. And after that, it was the end of the village, and there was a lot of trees all the way down the Kuskokwim area. The Kuskokwim River went all the way down to Akiak and Tulaksak, Kalskag, Aniak. But there was a vast many of trees and a river all the back after the arcade, just to let you know. And anyways, by the arcade, as I was telling you, was a long light, and it would come on at night. And this also happened during winter at night. Our grandma and our elders always used to tell us, don't play at night because something will get you. I forgot what you say in our language, but it's called something in our language. And we also can't hide at night because the irudayoli will get us. And irudayoli is like if you hide, something could grab you or take you if you're hiding in the middle of the night. But that was on one. But the other one, I don't remember what it was. But we can't play at night outside, otherwise something can happen. And we had a trash can also near that arcade, and also that pole. Big trash can, a caged trash can where everything was like trashed in there so it could go to the dump area. All of a sudden, actually, I'll tell you what we were doing. We were all playing. There was lots of kids. There was more than 10 kids playing outside in the middle of the winter at night. Who knows, like 9-10 p.m. And we were playing bat. We called it bat. We had like a little pitcher, and we had like a ball and someone to bat it. And we had a long line. I had to go to one end and then come back to another. Just like softball, but our own way of playing bat. And all of a sudden, when I remember I was close by, we were out. The other team was in. They did a big bat and they brought the ball. They were going to go look for the ball. My cousin Jed and them were going to go get the ball. And all of a sudden, the can, there was, 1 or 2 cans started throwing over back at us, and we saw the cans move. But that was another freaky story. We told what happened to this day, but I don't think the grown-ups listened to us. And I don't think the grown-ups even really believed us, or they weren't creeped out but our grandma used to tell us, don't play at night, otherwise things could happen. And that was another skit of a story that I will tell you. And I'm telling you a bunch of stories because this is on behalf of my cousin. My cousin, she was walking with our auntie, our uncle's wife, and they were going to the store this one night. This time It was in the middle of the summer and it was dark outside. They were going to Sam's store. And it was like not very bright, but it wasn't too dark either to where you can see everything. It was like a kind of grayish outside. They were walking and my cousin seen something. She seen a floating apparatus like a ghost, and she was in the middle of the village where all the teachers' houses were, and they were all a tan color, like a ivory color. And the last house that they stopped at, that they were gonna pass, and they were on the boardwalk, my cousin looked up at the top of the roof, right by the antennas, was a floating ghost looking like creature with glasses just looking at her while they were passing, which is creepy to this day because she told her whole family. She told me, she told my auntie, and she took my auntie and held her, and she was like, and she's like, what's wrong? And she happened to see someone, and that time someone around the area, around the surrounding villages, one person was missing. I'm not gonna say his name, but that person went missing, and that person was missing used glasses. So I think that is still creepy to this day. And every time I was a child, and every time I walked near that place, I would always be so terrified to look up and pass that area. And that is one creepy story, whether it is real or not, or whether you believe or not, it is still creepy. I am going to end this out with another controversy, and it's something that I personally saw, whether you believe it or not. My husband calls where we live the boonies. I know, that's funny, but did I not tell you it was all a vast amount of trees, and Alaska's pretty big. Who knows? Whether you believe it or not, when I was a teenager, there was sightings of Bigfoot, Sasquatch. And this one summer evening, it was about to be fall, where all the leaves of the trees fell off, and I was going to my cousin's new house, and my cousin's new house was nearest to the airport. So when you look over to the left, as I was walking up her stairs to go be with my cousin and visit her and sleep over, she already ran up her stairs and closed the door on me. And as I was walking up her stairs, I looked over to the left, over beyond by that long road where the planes used to land, as it was our airport. Right near the edge of the road, there was lots of trees, and I saw something tall and all dark, and it was walking in a weird position, staring at me. And I was so confused. I was like, what the heck, who is that? But as you can see, all of the body was facing that to that direction where it was walking at into the woods, but its body was pivoted towards me, and it was looking at me. And I told my mom about it, I told my cousin about it, I told my husband about it, that I think I may have seen Bigfoot. whether you believe it or not, there was a weird, tall, covered Bigfoot, almost as tall as the trees, walking into the woods. And to this day, I'm still kind of in denial. But that is what I saw that one evening, summertime, almost fall time. And I was so scared. I was so puzzled that I didn't even tell my cousin at the time. I don't even think I even told her before, but that's what I saw. I don't even remember if I told her or not. But as I went in, I was like so quiet. I was just so confused at what I saw. And ever since that day I saw that thing, whatever it was, I was always scared to go out and about in the village. Or also in my room, all the way at, it's so funny, me and my cousin had, we lived at opposite, like literally opposite sides of the village. She lived by the near airport at the end of the village, and I was at the way end of the village by the gas station. That's funny. But every time I was at my house, I was scared to look out my window because I thought something would be looking out, hovering. I only had like a white blanket, but I used it as my curtain, and it had like, it was knitted, it was yarn, and it was knitted, so it had like little holes on it, and I thought something would be peeking. But that was freaky. There, I told you some of her creepy stories and her paranormal activity stories, and also my share as well. And also, I can't believe that I'm telling you that I seen Bigfoot before. Whether you believe it or not, it's still something that I am still wondering what it was, or if it really was Bigfoot. Anyways, my forget-me-nots, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for watching. And for the remaining of the video, I am just going to throw in inaudible mouth sounds and just hand movements, hand